The valorous claw drifted through the Kepler void like a shard of obsidian against velvet darkness. Commander Anna Reeves stood at the observation deck, her reflection ghostly in the reinforced transparasteel. Behind her, the bridge hummed with the quiet efficiency of a warship on patrol, all claws, teeth, and predatory grace wrapped in 20,000 tons of military-grade titanium and plasma weaponry. She was the only human aboard. The Felinar hegemony had been humanity's staunchest ally since the Convergence Wars, when both species had united against the Krillian swarm. That had been 40 years ago. Now, Anna served as the cultural liaison officer aboard one of their most decorated vessels, a position that sounded dignified but mostly involved explaining why humans didn't groom each other, and why they found it strange that Felinar buried their dead in zero-gravity gardens. "Commander Reeves," purred Captain David Carthen from his command throne, his silver-striped fur immaculate as always, his amber eyes fixed on her with that unsettling feline focus that still made her spine tingle even after 3 years aboard. "Long-range sensors detect debris field ahead, possibly Krillian origin. We investigate, yes." Anna nodded, pulling her dark hair into a regulation bun. "Affirmative, Captain. Standard reconnaissance protocols." The Felinar crew moved with liquid precision. They were magnificent warriors, 7 feet tall, bipedal felines with retractable claws, enhanced musculature, and reflexes that made human marines look sluggish. But they were also rigid, bound by a complex honor code that Anna had spent years trying to understand. The debris field yielded little of tactical value: shattered hull fragments, a dead satellite, and one small escape pod broadcasting a faint distress signal. "Life signs?" Anna asked. The sensor officer's ears flicked. "Affirmative, faint, non-Krillian, possibly, Felinar juvenile." Captain David's tail lashed once, a sign of agitation. "Retrieve immediately." The escape pod contained a single occupant, a Felinar cub barely 6 months old by Anna's estimation. Its fur was matted with dried blood and coolant fluid, one ear torn, ribs visible beneath its pelt, but alive. Barely. Dr. Shalana, the ship's medical officer, worked with brutal efficiency. "Starvation, dehydration, minor wounds. The cub will survive, but—" Her whiskers twitched downward. "There is no identification, no clan markings. By law, it must be transferred to Hegemony Child Services at the next station." Anna knelt beside the medical pod, watching the tiny chest rise and fall. The cub's eyes fluttered open, cloudy green, unfocused. A tiny mewling sound escaped its throat. Something in Anna's chest clenched. "How long until we reach the next station?" she asked. 18 days, David replied, standing in the doorway, his massive frame filling it completely. His expression was unreadable. "Commander, you understand Felinar protocol. Orphaned cubs without clan." "I'll care for it," Anna said. The words surprised even her. "Until we reach the station, temporary guardianship." The room fell silent. Dr. Shalana's ears pinned back in shock. Even David's pupils dilated, the Felinar equivalent of raised eyebrows. "Commander," he said carefully, "you are not Felinar. You cannot provide proper—" "I can keep it alive for 18 days, Anna interrupted, standing to face him. "Unless you're telling me humans are incompetent." It was a calculated risk. Felinar respected directness and personal honor above all else. David's tail swished once, twice. Then his lips pulled back in what might have been a smile, revealing very white, very sharp teeth. "Request granted. The cub is your responsibility." Anna named him Pip. It wasn't a proper Felinar name. Those were complex things involving clan lineage and honor designations. But for a human caring for a temporary ward, Pip seemed appropriate. The cub was small enough to fit in her arms, weighing perhaps 4 kilograms, all fluff and oversized paws. The first night was chaos. Pip wailed continuously, a sound that set every Felinar's teeth on edge and made them avoid Anna's quarters. She tried everything: warm milk synthesized from the replicator, soft bedding, environmental controls adjusted to match Felinar nursery temperatures. Nothing worked. Finally, at 300 hours, exhausted and desperate, Anna did what her own mother had done when she was small. She held Pip against her chest and hummed. Not a Felinar purr. She couldn't manage that, but an old earth lullaby her grandmother had taught her. Pip's crying stopped. The tiny body relaxed against her warmth. Within minutes, both of them were asleep. She woke 6 hours later to find Captain David standing in her doorway, having overridden her lock. His expression was peculiar. "You sing to it," he said, not a question. Anna, still foggy with sleep, nodded. "Human thing comforts infants." "We do not do this." David's voice was soft, almost wondering. "We provide, teach, but this." He gestured at the scene, human and Felinar cub curled together in sleep. "This is different." The next 17 days transformed the valorous claw. Anna carried Pip everywhere, tucked into a modified tactical sling against her chest. The crew watched with barely concealed fascination as the human did things no Felinar parent would. She cooed nonsense words, played peekaboo, let Pip gnaw on her fingers during teething. She sang constantly, work songs, love songs, marching cadences, her voice echoing through the sterile corridors. Pip thrived. His fur regained its luster, his eyes brightened, and he began the clumsy tumbling that characterized healthy Felinar cubs. More remarkably, he bonded to Anna with an intensity that shocked the crew. "It imprinted on you," Dr. Shalana said during a routine checkup, her tone clinical but her ears betrayed her amazement. "Felinar cubs normally bond to their entire clan, but Pip recognizes only you as family. Extraordinary." What the doctor didn't mention, what Anna noticed herself, was how the crew had begun to change. Warriors who'd never spoken to her beyond duty requirements now stopped to ask about Pip's health. Engineers brought gifts, bits of shiny metal, soft fabric scraps, which they awkwardly presented before retreating. Even Captain David visited daily, ostensibly to check on the cub's integration, but Anna suspected he just wanted to watch Pip play. The shift was subtle but undeniable. The crew moved differently around her now, more carefully, more protectively. When she walked through corridors with Pip, warriors would straighten, touch their chests in salute, then step aside with a deference that went beyond rank. "They're treating me like I'm precious cargo," Anna mentioned to David during a strategy meeting. The captain's whiskers twitched in amusement. "You are carrying a cub. In Felinar culture, one who nurtures the young is sacred, even," he paused, "even if that nurturer is human." Day 16 brought crisis. Krillian raiders, 3 light cruisers, dropped out of hyperspace without warning. The valorous claw's combat klaxons shrieked. Anna was in her quarters feeding Pip when the first impact rocked the ship. "All hands to battle stations," David's voice cut through the chaos. "Commander Reeves, seal yourself in." "I'm coming to the bridge," Anna interrupted, already moving. Pip clung to her shoulder, mewling in fear. "Negative, you have the cub. Which is why I need to be where the escape pods are." Her voice was steel. "I'm not hiding in my quarters if this ship goes down." The bridge was controlled chaos when she arrived. Plasma fire painted the void in brilliant arcs. The valorous claw was outgunned but not outmaneuvered. David commanded with the precision of a master duelist, using the ship's superior agility to avoid the heavier Krillian broadsides. "Shield generators at 60%, reported the tactical officer. "They're trying to disable our engines." Anna strapped herself into the auxiliary station, one arm wrapped protectively around Pip. The cub's claws dug into her uniform, drawing blood, but she barely noticed. Around her, the Felinar crew fought with savage efficiency, but she saw something else now. The way they positioned themselves between her and potential threats. The split-second glances toward her station to confirm she was safe. They weren't just fighting to protect their ship. They were fighting to protect her. Incoming starboard side. The impact threw Anna sideways. Her restraints held, but Pip was ripped from her grip, tumbling through the zero gravity that flashed on as artificial gravity failed. The cub's shriek of terror cut through everything. Three things happened simultaneously. Anna released her harness and launched herself after Pip. Captain David roared, a sound that made her bones vibrate and left his command thrown. Every Felinar on the bridge moved toward her. She caught Pip one-handed, spinning in midair to shield the cub with her body as debris tore through the atmosphere. Something sharp sliced her shoulder. Then David was there, his massive body wrapped around both human and cub, claws extended to grip the deck plating as gravity suddenly returned. They crashed together in a tangle of limbs and fur. When Anna's vision cleared, she was surrounded by the bridge crew, a living wall of Felinar warriors, every one of them positioned between her and danger, their backs to the viewports, their attention on her. "Status," David commanded, not moving from his protective stance. "Krillian's retreating," came the shaken reply. "Our reinforcements arrived. We're secure." Slowly, carefully, the wall of warriors parted. Anna sat up, checking Pip first, frightened but unharmed, then looking up at the circle of faces around her. David extended a massive paw hand, helping her to her feet with surprising gentleness. "Commander," he said softly, "you risked yourself for the cub." "Of course I did." Anna's voice was hoarse. "He's mine to protect." Something rippled through the crew, a collective recognition that Anna couldn't quite name. They reached Felinar Station 2 days later, exactly on schedule. Anna stood in the docking bay, Pip asleep against her chest, surrounded by her packed belongings and official transfer documents. Child services would arrive within the hour. The entire crew had assembled. 200 Felinar warriors, standing in perfect formation, watching in silence as their human commander prepared to surrender the cub she'd cared for. Captain David approached, carrying a small bundle of cloth. "Commander Reeves, on behalf of the crew," he hesitated, an expression Anna had never seen crossing his leonine features. "We have discussed, consulted protocols, and we wish to present formal petition." He unfolded the cloth, a banner bearing the crest of the valorous claw but modified. Interwoven with the traditional Felinar symbols were new elements: a human handprint, a musical note, a stylized lullaby wave pattern. "You have shown us something we did not understand," David continued. "Felinar raise cubs with duty and honor. You raise with," he struggled for the word, "with song, with tenderness, with a love that transcends species." The crew's voices rose in unison, a purring rumble that shook the deck. "Matriarch." Anna's breath caught. "We petition Hegemony Command to grant you adoption rights," David said, "and to name you honorary matriarch of the valorous claw. We are your clan now, if you will have us." Tears, something Felinar didn't produce, streamed down Anna's face. She looked down at Pip, then back at the assembled crew. Words failed, she simply nodded. Captain David's chest rumbled with what might have been laughter. "Then it is settled. Welcome home, Matriarch Anna Reeves." As the crew surged forward, carefully, respectfully, to meet their new clan matriarch and her cub, Anna understood what had really happened over these 18 days. She hadn't just saved one lost cub. She taught 200 warriors what it meant to be family. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, the valorous claw sailed on, no longer just a warship but a home.